Thank you, Kareem. The president said last week that a private message had been delivered to Iran about the Houthi attacks. Could you talk a little bit about that message?
No, I cannot.
What can you tell us about what was communicated to the Houthis?
That's the same question you just asked. I'm not going to get into that. As the president said, there was a private message delivered to Iran, and I need to leave it at that.
Has that been effective?
I'm just going to leave it right there. A message was delivered, and of course, publicly, we have made clear our concerns about what the Houthis are doing. We've made clear the support that we know they're getting from Iran, and we're going to continue to take actions. I would remind, it doesn't get mentioned a lot in the context of the Red Sea attacks, but this administration alone has issued some 500 sanctions, or 500 entities have been sanctioned under this administration in just the last 3 years. Iranian entities.
And a quick question on Iran's foreign minister, who spoke at Davos earlier today. He said the security of the Red Sea is tied to the developments in Gaza, and everyone will suffer if Israel's crimes in Gaza do not stop. He basically warned that all fronts will remain active until then. Do you have a response to that?
Well, I mean, to take it at, just in a couple of pieces there. If you look at the 32 some odd attacks that the Houthis have conducted now, for the ones that were targeted at ships that were identifiable, because sometimes they launch a barrage and there's multiple ships and you're not really sure what ship's being targeted. But let's just take a look at the majority of the 32 where you can identify the ship that's being targeted. Not a single one was destined for Israel. They were all destined for other ports with other bits of commerce. So the whole argument that this is about the war in Gaza, I mean, they're just driving a stake through a straw man. There's nothing there. And as for the quote-unquote resistance continuing, I've said it many times, happy to repeat it, we have national security interests in the region, significant interests, and we have moved additional military resources at the president's order into the region to make sure we can protect those interests. And we mean what we say. And if you doubt it, take a look at what happened just a few nights ago.
In his statement on the Houthis designation, Jake Sullivan said that there would be an immediate reevaluation of the designation were they to stop the attacks. Can you just help us understand why that reevaluation would happen immediately? You know, would that sort of risk the potential of them starting up the attacks again if that designation were to be taken away pretty quickly?
The thing about sanctions designations, that they are a pliable form of economic pressure. You can scale them up, you can scale them down, you can lay them on, you can take them off in a fairly simple way. So Jake's right. As I said in my opening statement, if they choose to stop these attacks, then we certainly have the option at our disposal to remove this designation that we just issued.